Ciao, my loves. Welcome to Pain to Joy. My name is Danielle Sutty, and I want to thank you from my whole heart for being here today. This is episode 27, and I mention that because it will be the last episode for a little while. When I was living in Mexico a few years ago, on my birthday, January 27th, that number became sort of magical for me. I see 27 wherever I go. If I'm walking along and I'm wondering if I'm on the right path, I'll see a 27 on a license plate or on a bill or a receipt. And so 27 in my mind was a good place to take a pause. And again, I want to thank you if this is the first episode you're listening to or the 27th. It means so much to me that you would take your precious time and spend it with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, the reason I've made this decision is that there are certain projects that I have been working on or haven't been working on, certain things that I want to experience in my life. And although I am thrilled and extremely proud of myself, and I celebrate the fact that this will be week 27, which means I've done it for more than half a year consistently, this week's episode will be released later than any other, and that's okay too. It has been an opportunity to build self-trust. It has been an opportunity to be vulnerable, which is a strength. It has been an opportunity to share a small snippet of some of my healing journey, which I intend on continuing to share. I called the podcast Pain to Joy because we all experience pain in our lives, sometimes persistently, sometimes every once in a while. That could be physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain, spiritual pain, but we all experience pain. And my intention was and is that although we experience pain, I wanted to share how we can still experience joy, how we can intentionally create space for joy, how we can look for the good and the beauty and the love that is everywhere. Recently, I was sent a video by a couple of people with audio about the reason why people don't always notice the good and the beauty. It's because there's so much of it. And I know that our brains have a negativity bias. So you could have had 100 amazing things happen today in your life or in this last week, but your brain will latch on to that one thing that didn't go the way that you had hoped, that one thing that left you feeling kind of yucky, rather than focusing on the 100 things that went well. All of the smiles, all of the hugs, all of the micro accomplishments and macro accomplishments. And so another important piece to my sharing is reminding myself, reminding you to look for the good, to look for the beauty. Just yesterday, I'm currently in Florence, Italy, and the weather has been particularly beautiful and sunny after many weeks of rain. And so although after Italian class, I know that I should come home and rest, I want to be out in the sunshine, and I ended up stopping at a restaurant where I know many of the people there. They're like my family here in Florence, and I said to one of the people that works there, I'm so hungry, but I know I need to just go home and eat a salad and have a nap because I was going out with a new friend for dinner. And she said, why don't you just take a seat and eat something? And I thought, okay, I'm probably not going to make it home. I'm hungry, I'm tuckered out. So I sat down at a table, and on one side of me was a couple from California. The other side was a couple from Texas. They were both on the same cruise, and they had so many hours in Florence yesterday. One of the couples left, the other couple stayed, and they had about 20 minutes before they had to get back to their meeting point. And the woman had done so many great things in her day, her short time in Florence. I was really amazed and applauded her and her husband for getting so much done in one day. And the only thing she hadn't tried that she wanted to was an affogato. And if you're not familiar, affogato is coffee or espresso with gelato. And if you go to different places here in Italy, you might not only get vanilla gelato, but you can get various flavors of gelato in your affogato. And at first I said to them both, there's this place that's very Insta famous right now, and I don't drink coffee, but I did go there earlier today, and I had a cornetto, so a croissant, and I tried some of their gelato, and it was an out-of-body, blissful experience. So I looked it up on the map, and it's a bit far. No matter where their meeting spot is, I don't think they'll get back on time. So then I asked, where is your meeting spot at 3 p.m.? And she said, by the carousel in Piazza della Repubblica. And I said, oh my gosh, that's perfect. There's a place called Badiani. Their gelato is amazing. And I know that they do affogatos. So I quickly asked my friends at the restaurant to get her bills. We had less than 20 minutes to walk to Badiani, get her that affogato, and as we were walking, we were chit-chatting and having a lovely time, and when we got there, they were very kind and generous, and they offered to get me a gelato. So I had my small cone, the gentleman had a medium cone, and I'm so glad he did because that gelato is delicious, and the lovely lady got her affogato. And I said, let's take a photo, let's take a selfie, and then we enjoyed, and we walked the few steps over to their meeting spot in the Piazza della Repubblica. And I thanked them for the time that we spent together, and I let her know to email me so I could send her the photos. And right before I was going to go on my way to come back home and rest, the gentleman said, well, in Texas, we all hug. And he gave me the most wonderful hug, and then his wife and I shared the most beautiful hug. And I walked away in tears because people are kind and people are good and love is everywhere. And with all of the wild things going on in the world, those are the things that I choose to focus on. That I could meet two beautiful couples at lunch, that I could make her dreams come true of getting her that affogato, and that we could enjoy quality connected time as humans together. It was so beautiful. And I share this because that was another reason why I created this podcast. To share that there is always good, that there is always beauty, that love is always everywhere. When I walk down the streets here in Florence or wherever I am in the world, I see hearts. I see hearts wherever I go. And I take pictures of them and I share on social media and I say hashtag love is everywhere. Because we can choose to see the good or we can choose not to. And I have literally trained my brain, as I've probably mentioned in past episodes, to see hearts. If I see something remotely in the shape of a heart, I see a heart. And when I see that heart, I see love and I feel love. And so this is an invitation. Could you be open to seeing more beauty? Could you be open to seeing more love? Because we all know that there are terrible things going on in the world always. There are tricky and difficult, challenging things going on in our lives or in the lives of those that we love. And amidst all of that, could you choose to look for some good? Before you go to bed at night and you close your eyes, could you name one thing, two things, three things that you are thankful for? If I started to list in this moment all of the things that I am thankful for in the last 24 hours alone, we would be here for a few minutes. I am thankful for the beautiful dinner I had with a new friend last night. So connected, so real, so authentic, healing. I am thankful for the lovely couple that I met yesterday and shared gelato and affogato and hugs. I'm so thankful. I hope our paths cross again sooner rather than later. I'm thankful that in just over 24 hours, my parents will be here in Florence. I'm thankful that the sun is shining. I'm thankful for a roof over my head. I'm thankful for all of the friends and family and love that I have in my life. I'm thankful for you for listening. And getting back to the reason why I'm going to take a pause, even though as I say that, it makes me feel a bit sad. Because I have loved this experience and I didn't realize that I would be emotional. But I need to take a pause for me, because otherwise I would be a fraud. In these 26 previous, now 27th episodes, I talk about living with intention. I talk about taking care of yourself. I talk about self-love, self-care, self-nourishment. Sharing this podcast has been an act of self-trust, because I told myself I was going to do something, and I have done it every week for 27 weeks, and that feels good. On the flip side, oftentimes the energy that it takes for me to create the podcast and then re-listen to it and edit as best I can and then write the podcast notes, that takes energy. And that energy at times has taken away from my wellness routine. I'll be honest. It has taken away from other things that I want to create and put out into the world, other ways that I want to help and serve. And so as much as it's been this labor of love, and I'm so thankful, and yes, it will continue, like I said, probably sooner rather than later, if I don't stop doing it and focus on the things that will help me be healthier, that will help me nourish myself, then who am I to make this podcast at all? Who am I to share self-compassionate, self-nourishing, self-loving tools if I'm not doing the same for myself? And so I will take a pause, and I will focus on other projects that I want to put out into the world so that I can help more people individually. I choose and want to focus on my wellness. I have been walking a lot since I've been here. I have been having a wonderful time, but a challenge from this past week was, and a joy, I went to Naples. I had never been. It was magical. It was incredible. It is my new favorite city. I don't want to live there, but it is my new favorite city. The food, the sights, oh my goodness. And yes, it is loud and chaotic, but people were kind with me and to me. I ate the most delicious things. You take 2 steps and there's this gorgeous church, another 2 steps, something gorgeous you're looking at. I mean, it was just unbelievable. I could go back there again and again and again. There's so much to see, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. And I also decided to not take the metro to the train station with my suitcase and a few of the things that I had bought. I bought bread, I bought cheese, I bought a few other things. Things were so much cheaper there than they are here in Florence. And I thought it was a good idea to walk downhill toward the train station. And I am still experiencing PAIN and muscle spasms, and my brain is very tuckered out. And so I've been challenged by my brain being more tuckered out. A couple of days ago, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know why I'm so tired. Obviously, because you had a big adventure and it was so fun and it was so incredible that I got to do that. But the challenge now is getting enough rest, being able to enjoy the time that my parents are here. It is Thursday and I'm recording this. I have always gotten this podcast out by Tuesday at the latest. But I've also given myself grace and space and compassion. I'm living in a place where even right now I have stopped recording multiple times because people keep making a lot of noise with the doors and in the kitchen, and that's okay. So a joy is that I got to go to Naples. It was a true joy. I could talk about it all day long. And a challenge is I didn't make the right choice when I was headed to the train station. I should have walked the 5 minutes and taken the metro rather than walking down towards the train station over the bumpity, cobblestony, stony, bumpity-bump streets. And that's okay. The best part about the self-compassion journey is that I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at myself. It just is. I made that choice. Turned out it was a choice that has caused physical pain and fatigue. And that's okay. Because the biggest takeaway for me is I got to go there. Yesterday, sitting with my new friends at the restaurant prior to getting the gelato and the affogato, she said something like, what a wonderful life you have. And I said, yes, it is a wonderful life. And there were years where I lay in my bed healing in pain, and I dreamed about walking along the cobblestone streets, the bumpy, stony streets. So as much as I might not have made the right choice for myself physically, walking to that train station, I did it, and I'm proud of myself. And if it takes a little longer to recover, I was there. After so long of dreaming about being places that I had been or that I'd never been, that I wanted to visit, I was there and I experienced it. I stayed at the most beautiful Airbnb, which felt synchronistic and magical because I stood in the Piazza della Signoria here a few days before the weekend because it was a long weekend and I had a contact for a place to stay and he didn't have a place. And he said, you got to get on Airbnb and start looking. And I looked and I looked and I looked and all of a sudden this place popped up. And the lovely lady who runs this gorgeous Airbnb that she renovated herself in the last few years, it's so beautiful. She said, it was booked and somebody canceled. And right when they canceled, you got to book in. And also, it's called Don Pietro 1927, which is Don Pietro 1927. Part of the reason I chose it is because the number 27 was in it. As I mentioned earlier, my magical number. And I will say, having stayed there with this lovely human who would write through the Airbnb app and just see how I was doing, she gave me the most amazing recommendations. I ate places where locals ate. I saw things that only locals do. I met people on my walks and my wanders. So again, pure joy that I was there. Pure joy that I got to connect with all of the people that I did. And just an acknowledgement that I have been more TIRED. Therefore, this podcast will make it to your ears at the exact right perfect time. And I will take this next little while to focus on my wellness, to continue to learn Italian, to enjoy time with my parents the next few days, and to focus on some projects that I need and want to do for me that have fallen to the wayside because I'm focused on the podcast. And this is an invitation and an opportunity for you to think about in your life, what are the things that maybe you love to do, but maybe they're distracting you from what you need to do. The projects that I'm working on are possibilities for me to help more people, help people one-on-one, generate some income, look out for myself. And I need to work on those and dig deep to figure out why I haven't been. Because as much as I could say, well, it's just because the podcast takes more energy. No, I'm making a choice. On some level, I have made a choice to not work on that project that I know will bring good things my way. There are so many things that I want and need to do, and I've allowed myself to get distracted. And that's okay too. The self-love, the self-compassion journey says that's okay. Every moment is a fresh start. Take your warm hand, place it on your heart, use a gentle tone of voice and say, it's okay, my love. You got a little off track. It's okay if you haven't been doing the things that you said that you would, but you have an opportunity now to make space for what's important to you, to make space for what's going to make your life better. And I know what I need to do. Do you know what you need to do? And while you're figuring it out, because we don't have to figure it all out right now, we can journal, we can reflect, we can talk to family and friends, we can rejig some things in our lives so that we are prioritizing our health and the projects and the people and the experiences that are important to us. We don't all have to decide in one day. But as you are figuring it out, know that I am here, sending you love and comfort and ease, cheering you on. I am here inviting you to be kind and loving to yourself as you carve out whatever new path might be for you in this season of your life. And know that I will be back with so much more to share about tools that I've learned to keep a positive mindset, to just breathe, hand on heart, hand on belly, with a longer exhale. And trust that no matter how many times we get distracted, we always have the choice and the opportunity to get back to what's important to us, to keep coming back to what's important to us right here, right now. I invite you to make space for the people and the experiences and the projects that are important to you and your heart, that are aligned with your heart and your soul. I promise to take this little break and do the same. Sending you so much love from Firenze. Hugging myself and sending big hugs your way. Thanking you again from my whole heart for being here. Please connect with me, dksutty@yahoo.ca. Let me know what resonates. Let me know what doesn't. You can connect with me as well on Instagram, danielle.sutty, or on Facebook, Danielle Sutty. And you can also listen to this on YouTube. I believe if you search Danielle Sutty, Pain to Joy. A presto. Until we meet again.